And so we are transient. We are always on the move. We are always reaching for that next horizon. And we are always climbing the next mountain.
Abundant Life Church was established as Apostolic Christian Church in 1942 by Reverend Lowe, who erected a one-story frame building on East Rudisill Boulevard. Some 2 years later, Pastor Lowe resigned and Reverend George Taylor took over the pastorate. Pastor Taylor changed the name to Calvary Tabernacle and purchased a school building on Huffman Street, where the church worshiped for 18 years. Reverend J.C. Milam succeeded Brother Taylor as pastor for a couple of years, and in late 1949, Reverend Carl Frazee became pastor. Brother Frazee was succeeded by Ray McFarland, who pastored the church for 17 years and changed the church's name to Calvary United Pentecostal Church. In November of 1962, nearly 7 acres of land was purchased on Spring Street across from St. Francis College. It was then that they built the first of our campuses there, where the church worshiped for 30 years. In July 1970, Reverend Walter Raines became the pastor. Pastor Raines spent 7 years here, in which time he paid off the church's mortgage and pursued renovations and new additions to the property. The 7th pastor of this church was Reverend Charles Stovall, that's me. After serving in the Army and pastoring in Oklahoma and Ohio for a time, my wife Charlotte and I decided it was time to come back to my home church. I assisted Pastor Raines until his retirement, at which point I took over the pastorate. My family and I spent 8 years pastoring here until we fulfilled the call of God to the mission field in Germany. My successor is a man who needs no introduction to this church. Pastor David E. Keller and his family moved from California to take this church in 1986. In the mid-1990s, this church undertook a project that resulted in a beautiful church building on Spring Street. In the 34 years they pastored here, the Kellers have led us through building projects, a move, and massive growths in congregation size and community influence.
I do not believe the church was ever destined to be a reminiscence, but it was always predestined to be a prophecy. I'm here to tell you that the best is not behind us, but the best is yet before us. Mountain. We have not walked through our last door. We have not conquered our last enemy. And so we are the church of the Lord Jesus Christ that is alive and well in the world.